Thousands marched in Cape Town yesterday in solidarity with the people of Palestine. The large demonstration was led by several religious, civil rights organizations and political parties, making it one of the city's largest protests in several years. Joining us now is one of the march organizers, who is the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign and GIWUSA Western Cape, Abeedah Adams. Abeedah, appreciate your time this morning. Now, walk us through yesterday's march. What were some of the successes that you think were achieved?
Look, I think one of the biggest successes is the number that we had brought out yesterday. And of course, it was a cross-section of the community of the Western Cape. And the other thing that is equally important, that, the people who supported the march, that we also had multi-faiths and a range of organizations who supported the march, who came out in their numbers. People took buses from very far. In fact, we had farm workers coming from as far as Ladysmith to show their support for the Palestinian people. So those are, of course, the successes that we had. We've also had no major incidents during the march, because imagine controlling and managing such a massive crowd. So that were the successes. And then, of course, the message that we were sending to our provincial government, national government, but also to the international community on where Cape Town is standing with regards to what is happening in Palestine at the moment.
Now, this has been touted as the single largest march, or amongst the largest marches that Cape Town has seen. Similarly, in London, there was a similar march. What is the ultimate message? In fact, what is it that the marchers, or certainly those that participated in the campaign, are speaking out against?
Look, we are speaking out against the genocide that is unfolding on our TV screens and everywhere, and all for a different social media. And one of our major demands is an immediate end to the genocide that is unfolding there, and that we must be allowed to be, that the Palestinian people must be able to get unconditional humanitarian aid. Then there we have other demands. Of course, for example, in South Africa, we are saying that our South African government must cut all diplomatic and economic ties with the State of Israel, and we want the Israeli ambassador that is here in Pretoria to be expelled. We believe we cannot be having diplomatic or economic relations with a racist, genocidal state, and this is really what the State of Israel is.
Now, Abeedah, you put out a statement that reads, as members of the Cape Town community, we want to remind our provincial government that statements are hollow without concomitant action. Speak to us about what this actually means.
Look, we've also been asking, because we, for example, saying to specifically the provincial government that, that we want the Western Cape government to pledge unequivocal support and solidarity with the people of Palestine. But, for example, we also want the Premier, Alan Winde, to also promise to arrest Netanyahu when he comes to Cape Town, the same way that he said that he will arrest Vladimir Putin. But we also want the Western Cape government to support and to facilitate getting aid and donations for the people of Palestine, and condemn the apartheid state of Israel. So that is what we are saying. So we don't want to say the statement where they're just saying, it's a travesty what is happening, and we are concerned for both sides, etc., etc. We actually want them to show how they're going to support the people of Palestine, who's actually subjected to ethnic cleansing at the moment.
Now, when we look at organizations such as yourselves and many others that are marching across the globe, do you get the sense that the people of Palestine might feel, well, this might be a little bit too little too late? 11,000 lives lost in the last month, but the whole issue around Gaza has been going on for many, many years. And this outcry or outrage that is being shown by citizens across the globe, demonstrated in the marches such as those we've witnessed yesterday, should potentially have come many, many years ago.
Look, of course, the loss of lives is always regrettable. And, for example, the PSC, we have been in solidarity actions with the people of Palestine for more than 20 years. So we've been around a long time. Unfortunately, we know, because of what is happening currently, that there is a heightened awareness in terms of mostly ordinary people, and not just activists who are saying we cannot actually support this genocide. But what we do know is that all our interventions, our solidarity interventions, whether it's a march or whether it's a campaign for a boycott, whether it's a campaign for sanction, our comrades in Palestine and the people of Palestine appreciate that. Similarly to what has happened during South Africa during the apartheid years, we appreciated the international community support and their solidarity and also the condemnation of apartheid South Africa. We get messages from our people in Palestine to say, can you campaign, for example, that there must be an arms embargo on the state of Israel? And that is, I mean, I don't know if you've seen, especially in the UK and even here in Johannesburg on Friday, where they actually blocked one of the biggest arms manufacturers companies in Midrand because they've got dealings with the state of Israel and they have offices there. So those solidarity and these actions, whether it's a march or whether it's a boycott, really does, I think, contribute to the Palestinian people's steadfastness and their resilience for to continue their fight until they have the right to resist and to exist.
Now, Abeedah, some of the conversations that have been going on the sidelines of this invasion, if you will, of the Gaza Strip have been around what can individuals do economically to impact Israel. And that speaks to purchase of products or patronage of Israeli services. Now, what information are you putting out there to ordinary citizens that are in support of the agenda that you're moving to resist purchase or patronage of some of these products or services?
Yeah, so for example, we do have a campaign. We are, as the PSC, we are part of the BDS South Africa. So we do have a list of products that we are encouraging people to boycott. We also on that list we've identified, where the companies that we're calling for divestment and sanctions. And we are also encouraging people. So, for example, there's education around, if you see this barcode 729, and now we've heard there's another one, I just forgot. So we say this is a product or a good that would be being produced in Israel, so don't purchase or don't buy that products. And then we have a list, for example, on our list currently is K-Way to boycott K-Way, ZZ2, tomatoes, and then also, sorry, I forgot now, and then Puma as well, and then Pizza Hut and McDonald's, because we have identified those companies as the most complicit and there's outright support for the for the Zionist state of Israel in terms of financial aid that they've been providing. So that is our campaign. We do a lot of education work around that. And then also, different communities are also identifying different aspects of the boycott or the divestment campaign where they feel that this is an Israeli product and we will not stock this, we won't have it on our shelves. And then shopkeepers also decide that they will not sell these products.
Now, one of the things that we've noticed is that a number of civic organizations have come out and spoken out against Israel and are obviously pro-Palestine. Many political organizations within South Africa have done the same. Is there room for civic society, normal citizens of South Africa and political organizations within South Africa to come together in solidarity to push this agenda? Would that impact a lot greater than pockets of organizations trying to do the same?
I think it's always better if we're united. I mean, for example, here in the Western Cape, it was more than 40 organizations coming together and saying, and we were very clear that we are all here because we're saying the genocide must stop in Palestine. And that was the basis for our unity. I mean, we had organizations from trade union federations, political parties, organizations like the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, but a range of other civil society organizations. I mean, our daily basis, we get contacts from people. I mean, I just saw a message now from a group of people that's saying that we are occupational therapists. How we want to be involved? How do we support? How do we come on board? So there's definitely that. And we know if we speak with one united voice, not just in Cape Town, not just in South Africa, but internationally and globally, because we do believe that that will actually exert the pressure, not just on the state of Israel, but on the West and in America, who's really aiding and abetting the state of Israel with financial support, and they are, so we believe that they are complicit also in the genocide against the people of Palestine.
Now, how do you actually measure the success of the efforts that you are putting out there?
Look, I think for us it's because we are creating that the awareness. with regards to especially the boycotting from products, but also putting pressure on our different political leaders, whether it's a local government or whether it's a national government. I mean, now we still believe that it's a bit too little that the government is doing in terms of recalling the diplomatic staff, for example, from Tel Aviv. We don't want South Africa to have diplomatic ties with the State of Israel, of course, but we also know in our own history that our freedom just didn't come along. It just didn't fall in our lap. We had to do a lot of work, so it's a lot of struggle, a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of solidarity work that we have to do. But we believe that the tide is turning. If you look at internationally, every weekend, for example, we see these massive marches in different communities, from Jordan to the UK, to America, to Latin America. So there's definitely a groundswell of support for the people of Palestine, and we must just believe that we will be victorious in terms of the people of Palestine being liberated.
Abeedah, appreciate your time. That was member of Palestine Solidarity Campaign and GIWUSA Western Cape, Abeedah Adams.